It is Thursday, so you know what that means. We're once again joined by our guy, Eric Henry of Horns 247, breaking it down like no other. You can follow him at Eric C. Henry _. And Eric, first off, the season never stops for guys like yourself, bro. You're always on the grind. You're trying to get it done. And I read an article, and I appreciate the work because you got to find the work a lot of times, right, at this time of the year. So right now, you've done a little article that I really enjoyed so far, and it's called the Texas Football Expanded Production Series.
Right.
And right now, you did one on a guy from the 254 that I'm a big fan of, Jelani McDonald.
Yeah, as always, good morning. Appreciate y'all having me on. I kind of got to chuckle there hard. Yeah, this time of year, you got to find the work, and guys like me, I'm not going to be like, oh, Arch is going to be the greatest quarterback since Tim Tebow. So I'm going to try to give the people something substantive, So, yeah, go check it out, horns247.com. It's an expanded preview series. So the crux, the genesis for the series was essentially, Texas graduated a lot of players, not just this year, but last year as well. Over 24 players graduate to the NFL. So you are going to have more inexperience coming in. Now, inexperience doesn't mean you don't have talent. A guy like Jelani McDonald, who played a little over 375 snaps last year, try to project what could he look like with starter level snaps. For point of reference, your safeties last year in Andrew Makuba and Michael Taft both played over 675 snaps. So taking a guy like Jelani, very dynamic athlete, had 33 tackles last year. I think you got a chance to see what he could look like in that quote unquote expanded role when he started at Vanderbilt. Remember, Andrew Makuba couldn't go in Nashville that day. Jelani McDonald had to step in, made 7 tackles. Derek Williams went out for the year at Oklahoma. Jelani McDonald stepped in, saw his snaps increase. So I think you got an early look last year at what expanded production could be in my mind. And we'll all see whether guys he's going to play at the safety, at the star. That still remains to be seen. Don't necessarily focus on the position as much as it is what can he do with expanded playing time. And you see someone who brings a dynamic presence, heavy hitter. And in my opinion, especially if he is playing star, I think he could remind you guys a lot of Jahdae Barron in 2022, making plays at the line of scrimmage, behind the line of scrimmage, getting his hands on balls everywhere. So check it out. It's up at horns247.com.
Man, you talked about his ability to come up and tackle. I really do feel like if that guy has the frame to be a linebacker if he wanted to. I mean, he is a big, well put together guy and with a lot of room to grow. Do you feel like that he's best served staying closer to the line because he actually can cover?
Mark, that's a great question. You're talking about a kid who played corner almost exclusively in high school. All right. So think about that. He's got the corner skills, kind of the corner athletic background. But as you said, in college, he's grown into his frame a little bit, bigger, could be about 215 right now. I think he's a guy who probably his best role in my mind is as a dime linebacker, so that star role where he gets to do the things in coverage when asked, right? Now, the key and the thing that made Jahdae Barron special, and the reason why Jahdae Barron is one of the most special players I've ever covered, was his IQ, his ability to read the play before the play. We'll see if Jelani McDonald can be that guy. Of course, that helps Jahdae, make certain plays at the line of scrimmage. But in terms of just being a physical presence, combined with the athleticism, absolutely. As a dime linebacker, I think that would be a pretty excellent role, quite frankly, in PK's system.
I love it. We're talking to Eric Henry of Horns 24/7. You can follow him at Eric C. Henry _ and get the latest from the guys at Horns 247. So, I wanted to ask about this too, man, because obviously the hype, like you talk about, the hype train was about Arch Manning. We'll talk enough about him throughout this time. But a guy that I can't wait to truly see blossom is Colin Simmons. And I know it sounds crazy that, you're waiting for him to blossom because you look at him and his maturity level is off the chain, not just physically, but the ability to go play football. How high is that ceiling for that young man?
Harge, I said this on our Horns 24/7 podcast yesterday. I'm trying to think of edge rushers in my lifetime. Chip mentioned Derek Thomas, and Derek Thomas a little before my time. I'm trying to think of college edge rushers in my lifetime that I can remember. The only ones that come to mind that I think he has this ceiling, and I know it may take you off guard, but we're talking Terrell Suggs, we're talking Jadeveon Clowney, we're talking Julius Peppers. Those are the guys that I remember from college who could take over a game at any time. I think Colin Simmons has that ability. The first step is there. You guys saw that last year. His first step, his get off the ball that's just an innate thing, right? I used to talk about with Micah Parsons all the time. You're kind of born with that. I think Colin's ability to play the run, and I know that's not necessarily the sexy thing, but Colin talked about it saying, hey, I've got to be an all-around edge, right? I can't be a guy who, if they just see me pin my ears back, they're going to attack me in that sense. Smart teams. We're not talking about, no disrespect, the San Jose States of the world and the UTEPs, right? We're talking about when you're game planning in the college football playoff, good offensive coordinators, the Chip Kellys of the world, they're going to be like, all right, we see this thing, we can attack. So Colin knows he has to be well-rounded. But in terms of his ceiling, I know he's spoken openly about wanting to break the Texas single-season sack record by Kiki Diallo. I think it's 23 and a half. I don't know if I'm willing to give him that just yet, but I do think he can be a game wrecker every single game.
I'm giving you some homework.
Okay.
I want you to go back and look at the Michigan game and watch the one-arm stab where he put the tackle on his rear end.
Okay.
And it made me go, okay, this dude is not just a pass rusher.
Right.
And you look at him, and he's 260 pounds, I guess. Maybe he may be more now. Big, fast, explosive, but you're waiting on him to hit that hard outside rush, and he leans into you and just puts his hand under your chin and drives you back with one arm and puts a 310 6'6" guy on his butt like that. He's special, and we lucky to have him. I had to put my Texas hat on because I see you and Harge both representing that burnt orange. I was like, I can't be left out.
Mark, real quick, when you talk about Colin Simmons in terms of, the pass rush ability, you got to look at this from an offensive tackle perspective, right? If you are a right tackle or a left tackle and you're trying to get out, this being a big man, Mark, you're trying to get out of your stance, get into that pass pro, just the threat of that first step gets you off balance. You bring back inside, you bring a power move. That's almost an unbeatable combination.
Yeah, he's special.
Before we let you go, because we're up against it, I wanted to ask you about the Dylan Volantis just killing it on the circuit as well for a single season. What I told somebody the other day, he's a Friday night guy moving forward. It'll be interesting to see how he does in the starting role. But what he was asked to do this year was amazing, and he got rewarded for it.
Yeah, Harge, real quick, it's funny you talk about that. Obviously, the accolades and awards keep rolling in. I posed this question over our message boards. Where does Dylan Volantis' true freshman season rank, not just in Texas baseball history, but across sports, right? We're talking about the Kevin Durant's of the world, the TJ Fords of the world, Cat Ostermans, et cetera. I know from baseball, I talk about Brooks Kieschnick and some other guys, right? Houston Street, I believe, set a record as a freshman. So that's the company that Dylan Volantis is in after his freshman year.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, man. I can't wait to see what's next for this young man as he gets stronger and understands what it's like to be a college pitcher at this level. And I credit a lot of it and his strength to water polo, because he's a water polo player too. So as always, man, we appreciate you getting it in with us, and enjoy the rest of the week, the holiday, and just be safe out there, Dom.
You too, fellas. Appreciate y'all.
No problem.